Hello guys, welcome to day 19 of the TryHackMe Advent of Cyber, and today we're treating game hacking. And the team here says, I merely noticed that you are improperly stored, my dear secret. Now the story is that Glitch was keen on uncovering Mayor's malware deeds. Today he was sure he would find something neat. He knew the Mayor had an office downtown where he kept his dirty laundry, the big old clown. He approached the site silently, not knowing the door was closed so untimely. At the front of the door, a smart lock awaited. Glitch smiled because he knew it could be subverted. But oh, big surprise, the lock was air. A game controlled it. Glitch almost went teary. If you're wondering how this came to be, Mayor Malware himself will explain it quickly. Technology gets broken every day, was his claim, but nobody knows how to hack a game. Will Glitch be able to pass through this door, or will he end up with 0 as his score? Basically, it's about game hacking, and our learning objectives today is to understand how to interact with an executables API, intercept and modify internal APIs using Frida, and hack a game with the help of Frida. Now, I'll quickly just start your tag box here. Our machine, and while it's loading, I'll just quickly walk through this particular terminologies and what we need. So game hacking, even while penetration testing is becoming increasingly popular, game hacking only makes up a small portion of the large cybersecurity field. So hacking a game can be pretty complex since it requires different skills, including memory management, reverse engineering, and network knowledge. If the game runs online, it becomes quite complex. Executables and libraries. The executable file of an application is generally understood as a standalone binary file containing the compiled code we want to run. Now, while some applications contain all the code they need to run in their executables, many applications usually relies on an external code in library files with the sole extension. Now, if you look at this picture, you would understand that for a game to actually work, some of them need what we call an extension, and these extensions can't run on their own. They can't do anything on their own. They are useless on their own. But if this game applied to this extension and the executables run, it becomes something. For instance, imagine you are developing a game that requires adding two numbers together. Since the mathematical functions are so commonly used, you could implement a library called libmaths to handle all your math function, one of which could be add. Okay, so more or less that's how it works. Now, hacking with Frida. Frida is a powerful instrumentation tool that allows us to analyze, modify, and interact with running applications. How does it do that? Frida creates a thread in the target process. That thread would execute some bootstrap code that allows the interaction. Now, this interaction, known as agent, permits the injection of JavaScript code, controlling the application's behavior in real time. Okay, so more or less, if we try to run this particular code executable, Frida is in between that code executing and the these extensions, this library. So, okay, so it will now be able to give us let's see the way like Bob Suite works. Between the server and the application interface itself, Bob Suite gets to work in between, something like that. That's how Frida works. Okay, now let's take a look at a hypothetical example. In this example, a number is simply printed on the console, right? Hello 1. Okay, what we want to achieve is replacing the value of that arbitrary 1, which is hello 1 was seen. We want to put it to 1337 or anything. Now, before proceeding, we will run through that trace for the first time so that it creates handlers for each library function used by the game. By editing the handlers files, we can tell Frida what to do with the intercepted values of the function call. To have Frida create the handlers file, you could, or we would run the following command called Frida trace /main-i, and then this particular wildcard in quotes. Basically, let's treat something very important before we start solving this challenge. Each handler will have two functions known as hooks, since they are hooked into the function respectively before and after the function call. One is called the onEnter and the onLeave. From the function, we are mainly interested in the argument variable, an array of pointers to the parameter used by our target function. A pointer is just an address to the value. And then the onLeave, here we are interested in the return value, which is readval value variable, which will contain a pointer to the variable returned. think we'll get more understanding of this once we dive into solving the challenge. So here I'm just going to put this in full screen. When I come back here, I'll put this minimize or exit split screen, and then I'll scroll down to what we call the first game. Okay, now the first game here, it's called the TryUnlockMe, the Frostbitten OTP. Now you can start the game by running the following commands on the terminal. So I'm going to copy this over here. I'm going to open the terminal. Okay, I might be using this soon, so let's just come over to this left one, and before we do that, let me paste this here so I'll be able to use that. So paste it, and then Ctrl Shift V, hit enter. Alright, so we see our game here. So let's interact with this game by just if you hit space, you're interacting. Use the cursor to the left, cursor to the right, cursor down and up to move. Now we're looking to speak to this penguin, so navigate to this penguin, just use the arrows, move to it. Once you get to the penguin, just hit space, and yeah, it says welcome to TryUnlockMe 3.12, the only game based locked in the world. Say a game and smart locks good enough. The mayor fears any lock that's smarter than him. Want to know how it works? Not real. Nice, let me explain it to you. Okay, to open this door, you will need to prove you are a mayor malware via our patent pending 3-factor authentication system. Something you know, something you own, and something you are. So the 3 games of playing will be based on this. And where did you get that from? You're a funny one. The first factor is the random number 10 the mayor has. You mean an OTP? Oh yes, the mayor mentioned something about the Frostbitten OTP. Do you have it? And here we are, we need to input this OTP, and if we type in, you see it says wrong number, you don't look like mayor malware to me, and that's it. Now, so particularly we'll now need to call on Frida. This is where Frida comes in, and we want to capture this particular instance and be able to manipulate something here. So first we'll close this particular one that we have. Once we close it, we'll come over here, and then we need to copy this line of code here, this command Frida -trace. Okay, let me see here to copy it completely. Ctrl C. So basically we want to execute this following Frida command to intercept all the function in the lib aoc game.so library where some of the game logic is present. Okay, so we'll come back here, come over to this point, sorry, and we'll paste this, and we'll come over here and run this again. Hit enter, and it's spawning, instrumenting, voila. Now we're running this through Frida, right? Okay, so let's basically take this to this point here. Let me take it to the upside here. Okay, so we're going to run this again, space. We'll navigate to our penguin again, and then we hit space, and then what did you notice? Immediately when you hit space, it gave us this set OTPI here. Okay, now let's understand what this really means. Okay, now since we revisited the MPC, you can trigger the OTP function and the console displayed as set OTP. Now notice the output Z7 set OTP indicates that the set OTP function is called during the NPC interaction. As we started navigating and started hitting space to interact with the game, we got this. Okay, now open a new terminal and go to this particular location folder and open the Visual Studio Code by running code. So let's do that. Let me hit enter here. Let me bring this particular box downward here. Let's cd into this particular location, hit enter. If you ls, we're going to see the couple of JS files that we have here. Okay, now to run this up, we just type code and hit enter. Once you type that, I should be able to run the Visual Studio Code here. Okay, this part now I can just minimize. Okay, I can just minimize this particular point here, and then I can bring this particular visual code downwards a little bit. So yes, and if you click on handlers here, you're going to see all the visual codes. Now for the game number 1, we'll just click on this set OTP here, and then we'll have the code. Okay, now that we have the code, let's continue. Over here, we just want to manipulate this particular thing. At this point, you should be able to select this JavaScript file with the hook defined. The I at the end of the set OTP function indicates that an integer will be passed as a parameter. It will likely set the OTP by passing it as the first argument. To get the parameter value, you can use the log function, specifying the first element of the array arguments on the onEnter function. So we're just going to copy this, and we want to put this under the onEnter function. So we'll come back to this page. Let me paste this command first so I'll be able to use it. Okay, and then when I come over here to this is the onEnter, this is the onLeave. So over here, just after the end of this quotation here, this semicolon, hit enter, and Ctrl Shift V, we paste that new line of code, and then we save. Ctrl S, save. Once we save, we'll come back to our game again, and then let's continue to interact with the game by typing space. While we're doing that, keep an eye here on this left side. Let me put this a little bit to this point here. Okay, so that we'll be able to see all the code on the other side. Okay, now we'll continue typing that. Let's get to the point where you mean an OTP. Oh yes, Mayor mentioned something about the OTP. Hit enter, and here it requires us to type in the code. Okay, let's just type something and just keep hitting enter and see what happens. Okay, all right, here we go. So as we went through it again, we see it now returned us a parameter with the code, and it will keep changing. If I keep running this, it will keep providing us with different code at each time. So we type 151.892 and hit enter, and then we go ding ding ding, welcome back Mayor Malware, you may now proceed. The flag is THM on the screen, quote one tough password. You can't copy this, we only need to type it, and actually, as you can guess, that is the answer to first question here in this TryHackMe. So what is the OTP flag? And hit submit. Voila, that's the answer to our first question. So let's go on to continue. Second one. The second one is the wish list for billionaires. Exploring the new stage, you'll find another penguin with a costly item named Rite of Past, and the game lets you to earn coins by using the old PC on the field, but getting $1 million or 1 million coins that way sounds tedious. You can again use Frida to intercept the function in charge of purchasing the item. This item, or this time, it's a bit more tricky, but a bit more tricky than the previous one, because the function buy item displaces this. So let's quickly do this. So you see, now we hit space, and let's continue to navigate here to stage 2. Scroll down with up or down arrow for movement. Okay, now we're in stage 2. What this stage is all about is, for instance, if we come close to this computer and hit space here, you keep earning coin. That's what it's all about. But for us to keep earning that coin, you know how long it will take us to be able to earn coins that will give us 1 million over here. So that's tedious. So we need to hack that. So move again, come to the penguin to like buy. We need to buy things. Okay, so if you hit space here, so you are now verified to be at least 1/3 of Malware. Congrats. The second authentication factor is called a wish list for billionaires, and sounds shady. How does that even work? It would be silly to tell you. That could compromise the whole system. Oh, at least you are more security aware than the last guy. Okay, am I? Alright, I will explain it just this once, because I like you. Mayor Malware is the only one in Wavy with a super ultra mega premium extra high power card plan. Alright, this means he is the only one who could buy the coveted flag 2 item from the store. Does he pay 1 million coins every time he needs to open the store? He does, but then refunds the product. I should be rich by now, if not for the cheap mayor. But hey, if you are having a cash issue, you can always mine some coins from that old PC, which we just tried. Now, is there anything you would want to buy now? Is there anything Now that takes us to this point where you see ID1, ID2, ID3, and if you come over here and type in, let's say for instance ID3, okay, it's marking ID3 right now. Hit enter. What do you notice? We notice this particular validate purchase I 3 I's compared to the first one we have, which has only 1 I. Okay, now with this, which is OTP I, just one, and here we have I. Okay, now that we notice this, let's come over here. It says this time it's a bit more tricky than the previous one, because the function by item displays as this has 3 I's letters after its name to indicate that it has 3 integer parameters. Okay, you can log these values using the log function for each parameter trying to buy something. So let's log this on our JavaScript, so we'll be able to see the log. Okay, so I'll copy that, come over here, paste that in here. Okay, now let's go to our VS Code. Okay, now at this point we're no longer on the otp.js, we're looking for the purchase one, so click over here for the purchase one. Okay, now still on the enter, we hit enter here, and Ctrl+Shift+V to paste that code right there, and Ctrl+S to save it, Ctrl+S to save it. Now that we've saved it, if we come back to our game here and hit enter, you don't have enough money to use the PC to get more coins, it's fine. Let's try that again. Is there anything you would like to buy now? Hit enter, space. So let's type in 3 again here on the ID part and hit enter. Once you did, what did we notice? Okay, notice it has parameter 1, parameter 2, and parameter 3, and obviously you can guess that parameter 2 is the ID3 thing we needed to buy. Okay, what this now means is that the first parameter is the item ID, the second is the price, and the third is the player's coins. Okay, and if you manipulate the price and set it as 0, you can buy any item that you want. So in order to do that, let's copy this. Okay, we're going to paste that in that same on enter option here. Let's come back to our VS Code here. If you like, you can take this completely off and paste that, or you can just type enter and paste that code there. Before we do that, let's quickly paste this here. What this means is we want to set the argument 1 equals to PTRO, right? Okay, so having done that, we'll Ctrl+S. Once we save that, we'll come back into our machine here, hit tab to complete that last one, hit space again, sorry. Is there anything you want to buy? Yes, in this case we want to now put 3 again for ID and buy. And as you can see, we have actually hacked that, and we were able to set the argument for the second one to 0, which means we're able to buy anything. So we have our second flag, which we can now go back to answer question 2 and type it out. Okay, so we'll scroll down here, go back to question 2, what is the billion item flag? Type that in, and then we hit submit. Voila, we're done with this. The next one would be, what is the biometric flag? That would be the answer to the last one. The last one here said naughty fingers, nice hack, and please put your fist in this key. Let's just go through it. This last stage is a bit more tricky because the output displays by Frida is this. Let's quickly just run this and hit space here, and we're done. So let's just navigate to the third challenge, or the third game, or the third stage. All right, we're here. Okay, so let's just navigate to the penguin again. All right, we're at the penguin, hit space. It says just one more factor to overcome to fully become malware. The last authentication factor is biometrics. At last, the normal authentication factor. So where eyes do, so whose eyes do I need? Eyes. This is a punch-based authentication system. Malware has a very specific way of punching the keyboard that nobody can replicate. And here we go again with this, with the madness. Should I punch my keypad then? Well, you can gently put your hand on the keypad, no need to get violent. I'm worried for a second. Now show me the keypad. Please put your fist in the keypad. Okay, once you put your fist, hit space, space. It said naughty fingers, I see. Are you sure you are malware? And obviously it's not. And then we can see what we have here. It's quite different. We're having integers here, but now we are not having integers here. This looks like a string. Okay, so now that's kind of like the difference, and so it does not handle integers anymore but strings, making it a bit complex to debug. But by selecting the JavaScript file named this, You can add the following code on the onEnter function as you did previously to debug the content of the parameter. What we're going to add is this log parameter plus memory.read cstring argument 0. So we'll copy this and we want to add that to the JavaScript code. Don't forget, we need to select the biometrics pkc javascript file, and then over here under the onEnter, we click enter on this, we click on that part, hit enter, and then before we paste, I almost forgot, we have to paste that code here first, and then we can come back here and Ctrl+Shift+V, paste that, Ctrl+S, save it. Now we'll come back to our game here and interact with it one more time by placing our fingers. And what do we notice? Parameter with a huge long string, and it looks like it's not helpful. Alright, so since it's not helpful, we might want to consider another way. We can log the return value of the function by adding the following log instruction. So we want to now use the onLeave function. Alright, below on the onLeave function, we type this log, the return value is plus return value. Okay, so copy this, so we want to know what it usually returns. Okay, so come back to JavaScript code here, but paste that on the onLeave function part. We want to now come over here, click your cursor on that part where it's blinking. Now hit enter, Ctrl+Shift+V, and we'll paste that here and Ctrl+S to save. Once it's saved, we'll come back to our game right now and hit space and put our fingers again, more or less, then type the space button and not the fingers. Okay, now we got the return value is 0x0, and we still did not get what we want. Now why is that? This indicates that it's a boolean flag set to false. Which value will set it to true? Obviously we know that will be 1, and in order to do this, now we need to set our log function on that part, or just set our return value to replace ptr, set it to 1. We'll copy this code here, and then we'll come back to page here, paste that code there, and then we'll come back to our JavaScript code here, and we want to run that first actually. So hit enter, Ctrl+Shift+V, and then Ctrl+S to save that, Ctrl+S. Once we've done that, we'll come back to our game here and hit space, keep doing that, and voila, it says, oh, that's weird, he didn't punch the key part, yet the signature is correct. Mayor Malware would have hit it with all his might. Who are you, imposter? You can't fool me. Me? I am the mayor. Yes, Mayor Malware. Vote for me, please. And with that, we can see, oh, my bad, welcome back, Mayor. We've missed you. Here is the flag, final flag. Okay, so that's basically how we've solved that. So we need to type that last one in there. Okay, all right, so we hit submit, and voila, we've answered basically all the major questions here. If you like today's tasks, you can practice your skills by trying this Advent of Cyber 2023 challenge called Memories of the Christmas Past. So click complete here, and then the second penguin gives pretty solid advice. Maybe you should listen to him more. Probably, yes. Now complete that option there, and there we go. We're done with today's challenge. Thank you guys for studying with me. Thank you guys for learning with me. I'll see you guys for day 20 of the Advent of Cyber, and do enjoy the rest of your day. Ciao.